Hi, everybody. Lori here from Mama Elephant. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a couple of fun projects to share with you using products from the latest October release, starting with this adorable Hey Neighbor stamp set, along with the coordinating creative cuts. So I took my metal snips and cut apart that building because I just wanted to show you how it fits perfectly to cut out the building and the windows. So I'm going to color this with Copic markers. So I'm stamping it with a Copic friendly intense black ink by Simon Says Stamp onto a panel of Hammermill cardstock. Whatever you choose to use for coloring, whatever ink, cardstock works best for you. I just love using this intense black ink on Hammermill. I will say when I do this, I always either let it sit for a long time, if I have time to stamp it ahead and let it sit, or I'll heat it with a heat gun. Otherwise, I do notice I'll get a little bleeding. Anywho, for coloring, there's a lot of different ways you could go about this. You want to make a brown building, make a gray building, or you want to make a colorful building. So I pulled out R05, R02, and R01, and it's a trio that I don't often, if ever, have used, especially for a building. But I felt like just doing something different than I normally do today. I also contemplated making each story of the building a different color to really live on the edge. But I went ahead and just kept it all the same color so it wouldn't be too crazy. But now, what do you think this is down on the bottom level? Could be a cafe, a bakery, a barber shop, a flower shop. Could be anything. It's so sweet. And I love architectural stamps and dies. I really do. And then combined with the adorableness of Mama Elephant, I'm just giddy. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Even though I really don't love to color, especially on video, but these images, you can't, you know what I'm saying? They are really, really cute. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do. I went ahead and stamped the critters that come in the Hey Neighbor stamp set. You could put them in the windows. There's also a wreath. If you didn't want to do critters in the window, you could put a wreath in every window to make it like a Christmas card. So this could really span the whole year long for occasions. And I could not wait to color this little awning canopy thingamajiggy in rainbow order. You know, that's what I was waiting for. And so I did each a little stripe of the canopy awning. What do you call this thing? In rainbow order. And that's the fun part for me right there. Slipping in that rainbow bit of cheerfulness. And then now for the little critters, I'm not really going to add a whole lot of detail. You know, everybody has their own comfort zone with Copics. For me, I tend to lean light. I go light. Some people really get really, really dark. It's whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever, you really like. So I keep it light. I got the coordinating creative cuts to cut this out. Like I said, it cuts out the windows. And you could fill the building with the critters or the wreaths, or you could make it a shaker, or you could put cute little sentiments in each one of the windows. Now for size, I'm going to say that this building fits perfectly on a mini slimline card. So it's approximately 3¼ inches wide by 6¼ inches tall. And there's a little For You sentiment in the Hey Neighbor stamp set that I'm going to stamp with black ink onto that mini slimline white card base. And then I'm going to pop up my building so you get a little dimension. I use those waffle flower foam adhesive strips for this. It made it really quick and simple to add just long rows of foam adhesive and then a little bit behind the critters to pop them up in the window. They're so sweet. How the one is that a fox waving up at the top, and then the bear, he's having a nap. But I did pull out a mini slimline. This is like a craft mini slimline envelope for size to show you how it fits perfectly. If you don't have a mini slimline, maybe you have one of these, which I use all the time, is an envelope punch board. Anytime I have awkwardly sized cards, I'll pull out the old envelope punch board and create my own envelope. But we're moving on to card number 2. And this one's featuring the new Stitched Alphas creative cuts. I went ahead and snipped out the letters J, O, and Y for joy. This one's going to be kind of a festive holiday card. And we're just going to repeat the word. Joy, joy, joy. Does this ring a bell? And it makes me want to break out in the old Sunday school classic. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Woo! I think I butchered that one. Anywho, okay, I'm doing what I call the Christmas rainbow, where you start with red and you kind of end with green, and somehow it feels Christmassy, but also rainbowy. Now, I did put a little bit of foam tape on the back of these letters, and I'm just kind of eyeballing this here, and it's not perfect. It is not, but you know, the old redneck eyeball it technique, it works most of the time, but not all of the time. Okay, now this is an oldie but a goodie. One of my favorites, the holiday word banners. I'm going to emboss one of them in white onto black cardstock. So I stamp it. I used to say I stamp it twice to make it nice, but lately when I emboss, I've been stamping it 3 times. Maybe that's superstition. I don't know. So I'm pouring on white embossing powder, and then I'll heat this with the heat gun. So this is peace, love, peace, joy, and love. I thought that kind of paired with the joy, joy, joy background. Using the coordinating creative cut to cut out that holiday word banner. And then I went ahead and took that same die and cut out 3 of white. I'm going to stack these up using some Bearly Arts glue because I wanted the banner to be substantial and strong enough that I could kind of drape it or hang it across the middle of my card. But since my little letters are popped up, it's not going to have a lot of stability. Therefore, I wanted to make my banner nice and sturdy, nice and hefty. So I stacked up 3 out of white, topped it off with the embossed one, flipped it over, add a little more glue, and then I'm going to just adhere this right over top of that middle joy, right in the center. I put an acrylic block over it, let it sit for a minute. Now this is debatable, but I felt like the edges were hanging off a little too much for my taste. So you know what? I just snipped them off. You don't have to. Do whatever feels comfortable. And then of course I added a few little clear sequins here and there for a little holiday bling. And here we have card number 2. It's colorful. I love an alpha die for creating a background design with a lot of color. And of course you got that white panel on top of a cream card base. Just sets the stage for all that color. Make sure and check out the October release with Mama Elephant. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.